Cheryl Gay Stolberg of the New York Times reports an assault weapons ban is gaining traction for Democrats on the campaign trail and adds, quote, with strong opposition from Republicans who are in charge of the Senate and President Trump in the White House, an assault weapons ban has virtually no chance of being signed into law before 2021. Nearly 200 House Democrats are backing legislation to reinstate the ban, which is not enough to even pass the House, and voting on such a measure would be politically risky for vulnerable moderates. With us to talk about it, David Jolly, a former Republican member of Congress from the state of Florida, who has since left the House and since left his political party. So, David, let's put it this way. Right now, you can have impeachment in regular or diet. We're having diet, apparently, the single-calorie impeachment. A lot of people say for the reason that augurs into this reasoning, to protect moderate Democrats from casting a very eventful vote, because after all, if you want to stay in the majority, everybody and more has to get reelected every 2 years.
Yeah, look, that's absolutely true, and impeachment is a good analogy, but I would say the complaint should not be with those swing districts. It should be with James Madison, then, if the House doesn't want to do its job. Look, I would say this, for those whose priority is an assault weapons ban right now in this environment, if a democratically controlled House of Representatives cannot pass an assault weapons in this moment, in this environment, then the notion of an assault weapons ban is dead. It's done. It's not happening. This is why Democrats took the House. It is one of their priorities. My fear, the way this has now been framed, as Democrats and much of America has asked Congress to do something, and the eyes have turned to Mitch McConnell in the Senate, what will actually be done is a victory will be declared around very little. Congratulations to the Democrats for moving their universal background check over to the Senate. Republicans refused to do that. Democrats did it. But, Brian, all that does is expand the type of transactions that are subject to a background search. Unlicensed transactions at gun shows and the Internet. It does nothing to address the weapons used in El Paso or in Gilroy, California, or Vegas or Orlando. It does nothing to address high-capacity magazines like we saw in Dayton. It does nothing to address expanding comprehensive background checks to include mental health evaluations, to include non-prosecuted domestic violence incidents. What is sitting in the Senate is important, but it's very incremental. And this is a moment where if you are informed by a need for gun control, if that's how you inform your vote, you need Nancy Pelosi and the House Democrats to act on your behalf right now.
Is another way of saying what you're saying that it's relatively easy. Certainly it's an emotional issue. It's been a dark week in America. It's easier to call for this while running for president if you're one of the 24. It's quite another to be Speaker of the House during this time.
It certainly is. But I would also say, look, there's 235 Democrats in the House. You can afford to lose 17 of those votes on an assault weapons ban and still see it passed. To your point, though, look, Nancy Pelosi has a tough job ahead of her, because if she does not move an assault weapons ban, then this issue is off the table for every Democratic candidate and their eventual nominee, because the nominee for the Democratic presidential nominee cannot call for an assault weapons ban next November if a Democratic House has been unable to even pass it themselves. But conversely, if House Democrats can pass this and get it over to Mitch McConnell, you have a perfect contrast going into November 2020 between the Democratic platform and the Republican platform. One says we have passed an assault weapons ban and Republicans are standing in the way. That is a much better environment for the Democratic nominee to go to voters and ask for true reforms when it comes to gun laws in the United States.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.